She got into the car in the front seat, although she usually went by taxi in the back. She smelled with her nose the acrid, musky, always embarrassing scent of a man. He was polite, courteous, and unexpectedly caring. Proposed a chewing gum. At the traffic light, he stretched out his hand somewhere under her seat. Something creaked, the seat slid back, her knees no longer bumped into the glove box. He acted confidently, but delicately, without even touching her with a hand. Although she had time to think that he could use the moment and accidentally run over the silk of her dress, along the right knee with his large, heavy hands. He asked if she liked the music, turned it up when she answered. He offered a cigarette when she suddenly turned down the music and said, "I badly want to smoke." He handed her a pack. At that moment, he smiled. She also smiled and accidentally took out two. He rummaged through his pockets, in the empty ashtray, in the armrest, but he couldn't find a lighter. She put the cigarettes back in the pack. They stopped at a convenience store. "I'll be back." She went in and wondered what else to buy. She looked at the window mirror. Slight circles under the eyes, but this can be attributed to lighting. And the blonde hair is tangled at the temple. She straightened it, scratched her sly nose. It wasn't really clear to her why it was sly, but at that moment she thought so. Wanted to eat, wanted to drink, wanted to smoke, but not wanted to go home. The house is empty. It's hellishly empty. Only tender loneliness. So tender that it's always ready to strangle her in its arms. And it's too late to call someone. And nobody wants to. Alone again, surrounded by millions of people. No, she still wanted to call, at least someone, and just say how sick people are to live. It seems all right. It's good to live, it seems to be. But up to vomiting, just to tell someone about it. To a friend, to mom, to the new guy. Hi. She bought condoms. Herself for the first time in her life, by the way. Yes, and of course a lighter, as agreed. She returned. He brought the lighter to her cigarette. She was ready to take a drag to light a cigarette, but suddenly she pulled back, as if the fire had brushed her eyelashes. "Let's not here. Let's smoke by the sea." The taxi driver is not a man. He doesn't have to delay with the foreplay. The passenger is not a woman. She doesn't need to be looked after. No need for confessions. She doesn't need to be seduced for a long time. Sea and night. Catch before the dawn. Dawn will be indignant at what they're doing, grown-up strangers. Sea and night will not ask. They will play alone. They will sing alone. He crawled his hand under her seat again. He pulled and she drove off to the end, to the back seat. Yes, she got into the car not quite sober, but this cannot be attributed to her courage. And what courage is needed if loneliness eats you and only he is nearby, a taxi driver who is not a man? But how? Why? He is a man. What a man! He smells of kindness and affection. Delicate, careful, strong hands, confident hands. Do such things ever happen? As if he knew her. He quickly unbuttoned everything, gently lifted everything, kissed her where he should. It's she who should be kissed, and played the introduction confidently, as if they had been doing it every night for a year or so. Sometimes even a year. You will not learn how to hit the keys like that. Yes, they're doing it for the first time. Sea and night and two strangers. He loved her deeply, painfully, to the pain in her soul, which never wanted it to the end. And for some reason she remembered her brother, the same as his prickly cheek, and a friend who said that teaching lovers is useless, that out of 7 billion, someone must know how it should be done without words. No prompts, no notes, no instructions, just improvisation. Just masterpiece, perfect improvisation. And even there he played enough, where she didn't know what was possible. She kept saying to herself, God, how good. My God, can you hear? Forgive me, God, that I always grumble at you. I'm sorry I didn't believe in miracles. He is a miracle. He is kissing as if he loves. God, can you imagine? It seems that she was about to whisper it aloud. God, God. And indeed, out loud. Here she did again. She screamed, froze, looked into his eyes and made a spy grimace. She screamed so loudly that the seagulls by the sea became silent and looked back in surprise at the car with the inscription Uber. They laughed, and seagulls, and sea, and night, and two strangers. It's so simple and so good. Life is like that. It is where is everything simple. And she was not ashamed at all. God, you know, I'm not ashamed at all. What he thought, she didn't know. Did he talk to God like she did? Perhaps sometimes he was thrown around with words. But outwardly he was carried away and focused. And sometimes he checked with his hand if the condom had slipped. I'm not alone, God. No, no. A woman cannot be alone if she feels this way. And a woman should no longer grumble at God if he gave her such sea and night. After that, he turned out to be even more delicate. Just a few neutral questions, more funny than necessary. What you are. He hesitated. She was afraid that then he would spoil everything. The taxi driver is not a man. Do not make claims. Do not wait. what you are, what you are, and ran his hand through her hair. They dressed and sat in silence for a long time. Both looked ahead, either at the sea or at the seagulls, or just their eyes wandered, trying to grab a few more minutes hanging in the sky. She got out of the car and smiled. It didn't matter. All didn't matter. The passenger is not a woman. You don't have to ask her what her name is. You don't have to take her phone number. No need to promise calls, dates, repetitions. Loneliness. What the hell is loneliness? It doesn't exist in the world. There are no strangers here. All are familiar. Everyone understands everything. It's clear that the night is black and the sea is salty. Words are sometimes superfluous. But there are not smiles. Smiles are never superfluous. And condoms, by the way, too. God, just not a word to anyone. She casually glanced at the sky, entering the hall. Just a pity they didn't smoke.